Joining me today on NYSE Floor Talk is Brad Childers. He is the president and CEO at Archrock. Brad, fantastic to have you here again. Thanks for joining me on Floor Talk.
Thank you for having me.
So you're here today. You are actually celebrating quite a milestone. It's the 70th anniversary of Archrock. Talk to me about the significance of this milestone. Where's the company been and where's it going?
Well, it's a real privilege to be able to celebrate 70 years of continuous operation. I mean, for any company. But for us, it's 70 years of providing natural gas compression and natural gas transportation to the US to help power America. We like to say we power a cleaner America. And by doing that, we get to bring natural gas in to heat our homes, to power American businesses, and to power the American grid. And that's a responsibility, and it's a privilege to be able to do so. One thing I know is that we couldn't possibly do this without the amazing talent that we have in our employee base. We have the best operational and technical expertise in the compression business, and I'm just very grateful for the privilege of representing this team today. And it's that deep legacy of expertise that we get to bring to market. One of the really kind of fun things as CEOs, I get to celebrate that often. We have employees with which we get to celebrate 25, 30, 35, and even 40-year anniversaries. And that's a privilege and a really unusual characteristic, both in our business and I think in a lot of businesses today throughout America. And the last thing I want to point out is that I'm very proud of our legacy of adaptability. You know, for any business to survive for 70 years and to go 7 decades requires that you have to change with the times. You have to change with the industry, with customer preferences, and the oil and gas business has certainly seen a lot of change over those 70 years. We've seen, new basins come in, new customers come in, divest, merge, change philosophies. We've seen our equipment grow in size and complexity. And it's that legacy of being able to adapt to stay competitive that we think has now become not just a legacy, but a core competency, one that's going to be required for the future as we look at more digitization of our business, more automation in our business, and certainly trying to invest to make our business more sustainable.
So let's switch gears. Can you highlight the importance of natural gas in the US and globally? And tell me, what are some of the benefits of natural gas? And can you talk to the demand, tailwinds that you expect to benefit the business?
Natural gas is a really significant feedstock, both for the reasons that I just articulated to really power America. But increasingly, we're also powering more of the world. We're exporting more LNG globally today than any other country. And in fact, right now, LNG exports are 13% of our production, and it's expected to continue to grow. So it's a really important feedstock to export to the world. And one of the real benefits of this is that we are going to reduce emissions. In the US, we've increased the use of natural gas over about the last 20 years by more than 80%. And at the same time, we've reduced CO2 emissions in the US by more than 15%. So you can see a real trade-off and how beneficial that can be for the environment, because by using the natural gas, we're displacing coal-fired power. Natural gas is the cleanest burning hydrocarbon, and so that would really help with emissions. If we're really serious about emissions, we would seek to even not just double, but triple the exports of natural gas in the form of LNG to the rest of the world, so we could continue to displace coal-fired power and reduce emissions globally.
Brad, as the demand and production of natural gas grows, what are you doing to help the industry as Archrock to address the methane and carbon emissions?
Yeah, it's a really important question and opportunity for us, because we now are focused not just on helping to power and bring critical energy to the world, we're focused on doing it in a more sustainable way. And at Archrock, we're committed to doing our part. We've made several investments to mitigate both methane as well as CO2 to help manage and reduce emissions. On the methane front in particular, we've partnered with a company called Ecotech. And Ecotech has a great suite of products that help to monitor, detect, measure methane emissions so that you can have a better leak detection and repair capability. And we're helping Ecotech to roll this out to the industry to help mitigate methane. The other thing we've invested in is we have our own device, which we call the Carbon Hawk. which is a device that captures methane that otherwise would be emitted in normal operations with the goal of always keeping the methane in the pipe. And so the carbon hop captures the methane that's discharged in normal operations and puts it right back into the pipe. So between these two technologies, you can have a totally methane leak-free operation in the field. And then on CO2, similarly, we're making a few investments. The first is that we are looking at increasingly investing in electric motor drive compressors. So the ones that we use today are primarily gas driven. So they take a sliver of the natural gas that's delivered to us for compression. We burn that to actually drive the compressor, and that combustion releases CO2. But if you switch to an electric motor drive, you eliminate that post-combustion CO2 emission entirely. So, and that's a good thing for the industry. We're getting to invest maybe 20% of our capital for growth in 2024 into electric motor drive. And I think that that percentage is likely to grow every year now for years. The other thing we're looking at is we've partnered with a technology company to provide CO2 capture at a scale that could be economic and efficient at a compressor site location. So this is a smaller scale CO2 capture. A lot of what's going on in the business today is really large scale CO2 capture. But capturing it at small scale has different technical and economic challenges that we're trying to overcome. And this technology is very promising to help us mitigate CO2 through that capture process.
Now, underlying natural gas fundamentals and your performance are clearly strong. What does the outlook for your business mean for investors?
Yeah, the outlook right now is really robust. We've already talked about the market a bit, but what we see is up to 35% growth in natural gas production in the United States up through 2050. And immediately right now, we see 13 to 15% growth just in the next 3 to 5 years. A lot of that's driven by LNG exports. And a lot of it is going to be driven, and we're just coming to terms with the increasing demand for power from all these data centers that are going to go in and have to go in to help run the AI data centers that are being built today. So we see a robust market. Second, at Archrock, we have a transformed platform. We have a great franchise. We have a great customer base. Our locations are in the best plays in the United States to produce natural gas, leveraged significantly to oil that's produced, to natural gas that's produced in association with oil, so we call it associated gas. And the growth prospect for our business is really good. The platform that we have with our customer base, the fleet that we operate, the amount of technology we've deployed to digitize our fleet, to automate our fleet, give us a lot of leverage. So I think that's going to translate for our investors, growth in the business, growth in profits, growth in free cash flow. And we're going to be able to use that to have a really nice value-driven and investor-focused capital allocation, which is going to mean dividends to our investors, which is well covered. You know, we increased our dividend 10% year over year. We have a share buyback authorization in place that allows us to also repurchase shares systematically and opportunistically. And we have the lowest leverage that we've ever had in the history of our company. So strong balance sheet, strong financial position, and a really strong outlook.
Well, Brad, it's been wonderful to talk with you. Congratulations on 70 years of Archrock.
Thanks very much.
Thanks for joining me.
It was a pleasure.